Hello and greetings, everyone. Welcome to Two Tails Talks. I am Anthony, your host. So let's get something out of the way up front. It's been a while since I've done a Triple T segment. What is that? So Two Tails Talks is where I talk about a topic that I find interesting or important that is not directly related to the actual goals of the channel, which is a pursuit of imagination through storytelling and projects, a little bit of adventure there. So let's break down the format of how this actually works. So I'll tell you what the actual topic actually is. Then I'm going to break into a small segment of what this is and is not so that you understand the context of where I'm coming from, at least a little bit better. And then we'll talk about the actual stuff in question. I'll try and keep this down to about 10 minutes because I tend to ramble. So I'm going to try and stay focused on this one because this is something I find to be a bit serious. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into this, right? So, topic. So, I recently caught Atari Creep's video in response to a video by Smash JT, a tier listing of the Amico cult members. Now, I've not watched the video. I stopped tracking JT's stuff a little while ago. I stuck with it for a bit from a specific incident, so we're going to get into that in just a moment. But this was in topic of a tier list of Amico cult members that was supposed to be done for good fun, and kind of became mean-spirited at the end. So I wanted to address a few things that actually have been weighing on me personally. So what is this? What is this not? Because that's the topic. Here are the things that you kind of need to know. First, this is exactly what my wife doesn't want me using this channel for. Second, this is exactly what some of my friends from online, YouTube, and so forth have advised me not to do. With regards to my wife and my friends, if any of you are catching this, the earlier quotes, bit of a history lesson for you. The quotes at the very beginning of the video are from a 13th century Viking Nordic epic poem that's actually considered one of the foremost authorities on the philosophy of the Nordic people at the time. And considering I have found I have Nordic heritage and I'm embracing that, it's helped me learn a few things about myself, and that'll play into some of this conversation. But in this particular case, sometimes you got to stand up, and sometimes you have to take the swing. And if that means that you feed the trolls in your fight against the trolls, then, well, damn it, sometimes you got to feed the trolls. So, this is not a defense of the Atari Creep. He doesn't need my protection. I'm on really friendly terms with the guy. He sent me a gift not that long ago. I have mad respect for him. I think of him as the classic alpha dog type, to the extent that I call him classy. That's what I mean by that. He got a kick out of that one a while ago. But he's a tough one, and he doesn't need my protection. So this commentary has very little to what was specifically said to the Atari Creep, but specific points that I think need to be addressed from the events several months ago, which is, in specific, Smash switching from being pro-Amico to not pro-Amico and kind of the behavior from there. Now, let's throw a few things out there. So apparently this was done in good fun. So let's do this in good fun, shall we? And of course, this is my opinion. Yeah, this is me throwing this out there. I can tell you from my social circle, people have said in my presence and have said to me that they would love to do something like this, but they want to be the better person. They want to just wash their hands of it, and actually they have. And I'll say more about that in a little bit. So one of the specific points that I took a big issue with in catching the small clip of Atari Creep, and again, I've not watched Smash's video. I saw my thumbnail up there in the A category. It's been nice to be ranked so highly. It's been a while since I graduated high school and all that sort of nonsense. But first and foremost, in regards to the tier list, Smash was a cult member for a year and a half. Where was he on that list? Was he up there? Did he give himself an F? Did you give yourself an F, Jeff? Because if so, I'm really sorry that you flunked out on this one. But hey, it is what it is, right? So anyway, so the real first big issue is Smash JT made a reference to Atari Creep and Tommy being friends, and that definitively they're not friends. What bothers me about this is a man's thoughts are his own. Moreover, I'm not sure where Smash JT comes to the conclusion that he has any sort of authority over the intangible qualities of social, emotional, or relational guidelines or structure. No man is in any position to tell another person who they are or are not friends with. Personally, I don't think Jeff would know what a friend was if the friend greeted him, invited him and his family over, hosted them in his own personal house, and then sent them on their way wishing them well. Oh, wait. That actually did happen. And yeah, I'm not going to explain how I got the details there, but Jeff, you were in tight with Tommy. He invited you over. He hosted you and your family. He wished you well, sent you on your way. And in a moment, you threw him, his company television, and Phil Adams under the bus. Now, we're not going to talk about the merits of the whole Coleco Chameleon thing because, one, that's not relevant to this topic. Two, I'll be honest, I know spit about the Coleco Chameleon event. Here's what I do know. That behavior is not the behavior of a friend. Number one. Number two, it was said that the creepster was being manipulated. And it's been applied that we've all been kind of manipulated by Intellivision or Tommy. But when you have someone that you're on friendly terms with, and then you kick them to the curb for your own advantage, this sort of makes you the manipulator. So I'd be careful throwing those words around. But moreover, it is not lost on a lot of us that the time it was where you chose to, where Smash chose to switch sides again, it was shortly after he got dragged and raked over the coals by a larger YouTuber. First, Jeff, the dude farts into a microphone. That's the kind of people that you want to be socially connected with. That's your choice. It's certainly not classy or anywhere I measured you up. Now, let me say something else, because if someone goes back and looks at the Hamaval, the 13th century poem, they can find a specific point where it says, don't waste even 3 words of quarreling on an inferior. 1, I don't hold myself in high esteem. 2, I held you in really high esteem until I saw your character. Because thoughts become words, words become actions, and actions become the reflection of your behavior. Saying, well, it's just my opinion, while you're throwing pseudo-facts out there that it was just in good fun, it doesn't actually wave away your commitment to the choice. And what bothers me actually about that is a lot of people that are championing Smash's channel doesn't realize that Smash scapegoated his audience. His specific statement was, I had to do this for my audience. I had to do this. I personally thought that Smash came across Phil Adams' connection to Coleco or whatever it was, and because he invested so much money, that he had a knee-jerk reaction because he was scared for his investment. This is why I'm constantly telling my wife, don't ever make loans to family. It is a gift or nothing at all. Because once you mix your personal interests with your personal relationships, things get messy, which is what I thought happened. Now, I followed Jeff for a period of time after this, until he started releasing videos about the Amico cult, ignoring that he was part of our group for over 1.5 years, and starting to drag people that once were called friends or were on friendly terms with him. So let me clarify something right here, because I still talk with these people. Some of them are actually my friends. They know my name. They have my phone number, or they have my address, of all things. No one kicked Jeff to the curb because he didn't like the Amico anymore. It happened because he showed he was disloyal and that he prioritized himself above everything else. And the quick turn not only shows that he is, in my opinion, a weak character, switching sides and not standing ground, putting responsibility for his actions on other people, and then mocking and ridiculing those. And again, let me say this. I had him in really high esteem. I'm not a clout chaser. You can ask people that have talked to me that said, you should do this for your channel, it would grow faster. I'm not really interested in how fast my channel grows or how many people are subscribed to me. I'm grateful for them. But this is an artistic outlet for me. That's what it was always designed to be. And I've gotten excited and I've gotten carried away in a few things. But at the end of the day, this is more about me expressing, getting things out there than trying to be popular or famous. I'm the inferior here. By every modern day metric, Smash is superior to my channel, my financial state, his charisma, the whole 9 yards. It was the choices and the behavior that cost him that social circle and those connections. I could point out that if maybe, sure, I don't know the details, Phil Adams was connected to Coleco, and that was a failure, and no criminal laws were actually pushed against the whole Coleco endeavor that I know of. Phil Adams had a huge track record of success before that. And where does that success go? Because of one potential bad business investment. I'm presuming that no one else ever fails at anything, except for maybe just me. But second, especially when money or something tangible is involved and you have a personal investment, you have a social obligation to those closest to you more than those farther away from you, to go to them and say, hey, I have a problem with this. How can we discuss this? How can we settle this? How can we put this in a way where I can express myself, because this is how I feel about it, without jeopardizing what we actually have? And if you can't come to those peaceable terms, then perhaps it's time to cut ties there. This is actually going on longer than I want. I had quite a bit to say. But probably the last thing I'm going to say, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. There's two things I still want to say. Now, in regards to the Atari creep supposedly being manipulated, the second issue I had with that and who was the manipulator and who was the manipulatee and all that sort of thing was in the reference to the Atari creep's depression. Okay, so public service announcement. Atari creep is not the only one that battles chronic depression. I battle chronic depression. So why my channel disappeared for about 6 months. I have now been under treatment for about a year and a half. And I look back on my life and realize that I have basically battled depression for 20 to 30 some odd years. Admittedly, I can't say that I've been in the creepster's position. I've never gotten to the point where I said, that's it, I'm done, and I have a plan. However, you wake up every morning realizing everything is pointless. The smallest things get so frustrating, and you hit this point of agitation and anger, somewhere in between there, that you can't function, you can't think. And the simplest things become the most large mountains that you just can't climb. I understand what that's like. But that doesn't make depressed people stupid, and it certainly doesn't make them manipulatable. I take personal offense to that. Now, in the last year and a half, with treatment and medication and doctors and support, and honestly, the Amico community supporting me directly, and as in I've had people call me to see how I'm doing. It's not often, but it happens. It doesn't matter how much contact you have with a person. Friendship is a behavior that moves into relationship. And you don't get to decide for someone else the limits of that. But this brings on to another point that actually helped me with my depression. And it's a fairly bleak thing. And it comes from my Scandinavian background. And that is, I've done a lot of studying and reading. And one reoccurring theme in a lot of the mythology is that everything comes to an end. The Amico is going to end whether it's successful or not, and yes, I hope it's successful. I understand that it's not good odds right now. And television as a company will eventually end. YouTube will eventually end somewhere along the lines. I am going to end. And even in the Norse mythology, even the gods have an end in Ragnarok. Everything dies. Pretty much. But that's okay. Because when something ends, you have a chance to have an open horizon for something else. You have a new direction. You learn a lesson. We have the responsibility and the privilege to move forward and carry the experience, the knowledge, and the honor of those from our past and give it to those in our future. I find it really odd that you would say, Smash would say, I'm sorry, but prove me wrong, and then actively try and do as much damage as possible. You clearly don't want to be proven wrong. It would be embarrassing if you did. And here's the last point. This is something I have felt for a very long time. And I didn't dwell on it because a lot of my really good friends said, hey, you really don't need to do this. I hope you understand that as I've gotten in touch with my heritage, a man needs to make his opinion heard. And when he sees something wrong, really do take it personally until there's some sort of end to it. But here's the last thing that really should be known, because I know it's come up, because this is about the Amico cult. Let's disillusion something. Yes, the Amico Armada was a thing. However, it didn't start as the Amico Armada. It started as a group on Twitter. I made it. And Jeff was invited to it. The purpose of this group, and if you say otherwise, Jeff, you will be completely dishonest, was I was making a video that was horribly delayed. And Jeff, amongst many, many others, a good 2 to 3 dozen people at one point in time were in this group, offered support and encouragement and were interested in seeing what it was that I was making. So I made the group. So I gave them exclusive time to view the video before I opened it up to the Amico Society and then made the video public. That's what the group was for. It should also be known that I'm the one who shut the group down. Now also, let me throw this last little bit in there. There's another group of people I respect, of people that I'm either outright friends with, which, speaking of which, if you're catching this, go game go, Jeff. I need to get a hold of you. Anyway, so there's another group, my friends, people that know me, people that I greatly respect and are generally on friendly terms with. And you know what we don't do? We don't spend our time talking about you, Jeff. We've moved on. Occasionally, even Retro Bro humors me in talking about Vikings. We talk about other people's shows that are going on. We do talk about the Amico occasionally. We talk about how Tommy is doing, because a lot of us have either talked to him or sent him well wishes and have been tracking amongst our social circle because we all want him to do well. And I got a chance to talk to him once on the phone. I know what he's going through. Most of it, at least. If you don't know what he's going through, it's probably not your business. But my heart goes out to him. We've moved on. Maybe it's time you do the same. All the best. I really hope that somewhere along the lines, that flip-floppy nature comes to be settled. Take care.